Welcome to the Slow Hand Path. Today's message is, the future does not exist. The future is like the horizon. No matter how long or fast you travel, you never actually get closer to it. You are, at this very moment, as close to the future as you will ever be, and this is true for the past as well. As I try to understand what the future actually is, something alarming occurs. It disappears. I can't find it. It can't be pinned down. This is where things get strange, and where my search began for something I didn't even realize was missing until I tried to write about it. Today I want to share something rather disturbing with you, something unsettling yet incredibly powerful. Something that has the potential to set you free. I know this might sound strange, perhaps even crazy, but I'm willing to explore it. I'm willing to venture into the unknown because discovering the truth is far more important than maintaining a false sense of security. In fact, I want to dismantle every false sense of security I have. I wish to look behind the curtain with the spirit best described by these words from Henry David Thoreau. I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life, to see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not when I came to die, discovered that I had not lived. I did not wish to live what was not life. Living is so dear. Nor did I wish to practice resignation, unless it was quite necessary. I wanted to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life, to live so sturdily and Spartan-like as to put rout all that was not life, to cut a broad swath and shave close, to drive life into a corner and reduce it to its lowest terms. So without further delay, let me share the alarming reality I have discovered concerning the future. It does not exist. The future does not exist. It's a construct made up in our minds. From a young age, we are taught to believe in this concept before we can even question it. It shapes how we see and think about the world around us. Think of the future as a religious idea like heaven or hell, or the belief in the tooth fairy. It's an idea someone planted in your head. The future as you know it is a projection of your expectations, desires, and fears, all of which exist only in your mind. No two people have the same set of these projections. Unlike Santa Claus, the future is a unique idea that you project onto the world around you, but everyone does this in their own way. It's a metaphysical human construct that cannot be directly observed. It's a mirage, an illusion, a fiction existing only in your mind. And there are as many versions of it as there are people on Earth, making this a massive collective delusion. The future has never been observed. When you sit quietly, you cannot hear it. There is no lens through which you can look to see it, and no one has ever traveled to it. It is a purely mind-created concept with no physical presence. Sorry, time travel enthusiasts, but you'll never be able to go somewhere that doesn't even exist. The closest you'll get to seeing it is through predictions based on present data and probability. For example, you could flip a coin and calculate the odds of where it will land, but this is crude approximating in a universe of infinite possibility. In reality, the coin could land on its edge, or it could be snatched out of the air by a bird, or it could be destroyed by a sudden asteroid impact. From the viewpoint of modern physics, The future is a superposition of every possibility, until events are observed in the present moment, something infinitely complex and impossible to calculate. As a computational machine, your brain projects a combination of what you expect, want, and fear, and you see it in your imagination, believing you're seeing the future. This illusion is a representation of your base urges, what you believe, what you want, and what you're afraid of. It misleads you into believing you have legitimate insight, and this is dangerous. You're being misled by the worst parts of yourself. This helps explain why so many people's lives are so messed up. The worst parts of you trick you into following a false image of what's ahead of you. This is why it's so important to stay in the present moment. So what can we do about this? For tens of thousands of years, the world's religions have tried to help us control these projections. Regardless of which path you follow, teachings generally instruct us to detach from desire and not be afraid. Eastern religions like Hinduism and Buddhism teach us to stay in the present moment and silence our minds to avoid suffering caused by our mind's illusions. Jesus of Nazareth taught us to fear not and to focus on today instead of worrying about tomorrow. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, emphasized focusing on current actions and responsibilities. The Holy Bible and the Holy Quran both instruct us to trust the Creator and not worry about what might happen. In the final statement from Jesus' Sermon on the Mount, he said, "Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." Matthew chapter 6. To free yourself from these illusions, you need to free yourself from your expectations, from your desires, and from your fear. And that requires mindfulness. The danger of not getting this. So what's at stake if we don't understand this? The bad news is, it's pretty much everything. Your peace, your joy, and your ability to live your life and fulfill its purpose. The good news is, the solutions are quite simple, although not easy. Buddha, who mastered human desire, taught in the second noble truth that desire is the origin of all suffering. Expectation and fear are connected to desire. If you can control your desire, expectation and fear should take care of themselves. Expectation involves a desire for specific outcomes. Fear arises from the desire to avoid loss and achieve security. Both are rooted in desire. When you consider the future, you are engaging with your desire, and it is the cause of all of your suffering. Neurologically, worrying about the future releases cortisol, impairing cognitive functions like memory and decision-making. It causes brain fog and hinders clear thinking. Psychologically, it causes anxiety and depression, damaging your emotional well-being. Spiritually, it disturbs your inner peace and your connection to your higher purpose. Physically, it leads to high blood pressure, heart disease, weakened immunity, sleep disturbances, and changes to your appetite. It is essential for all aspects of our health that we do not worry about the future. And we do this by disregarding what our mind projects and wants us to believe by remembering that the future does not exist. It's only an illusion. Mindfulness, meditation, prayer, and expressions of faith are our greatest tools to combat worrying about the future. By reminding ourselves that the future is an illusion, we can begin to let go and not be controlled by our mind's false projections. I'll leave you with a few words from men wiser than myself, because after all, I'm just some guy from the internet. The future is a concept, it doesn't exist. There is no such thing as tomorrow. There never will be, because time is always now. That's one of the things we discover when we stop talking to ourselves and stop thinking. We find there is only present, only eternal now. Alan Watts. If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present. Lao Tzu. Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. Marcus Aurelius. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Jesus of Nazareth. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Buddha. No valid plans for the future can be made by those who have no capacity for living now. Alan Watts. Your mind wants to convince you the future is real. Believing this will cause significant suffering in your mind, body, heart, and spirit. There are many illusions your mind wants you to believe, and every enlightened master, sage, and prophet throughout time has understood that a man is not his mind. Life is unpredictable. Any one of us at any moment could be hit by a car, or suffer a catastrophic financial loss, or have our home consumed in a fire, or be struck dead by lightning. Yet all of us want to make it through to the end without suffering a terrible catastrophe. 7 years ago, I was traveling, and I was getting a haircut in a new city. I was staying in a nice hotel, and I was feeling great after a satisfying workout and a nice meal. The woman cutting my hair noticed a lump on my neck and suggested I have it looked at by my doctor. 7 days later, I was rushed into surgery, diagnosed with cancer. I was barely 30 years old. I had plans for the future. My career was going well. I was looking to buy my first home. I was going to get married and have some children and live happily ever after. And suddenly, all of my plans were erased, replaced by fear and a sense of enormous loss. The physical pain from the surgeries and the cancer treatments was nothing compared to the mental and emotional pain of losing my future. Understanding what I have shared here with you today would have prepared me better for that sudden loss. The reality of life is that something terrible could happen to any one of us at any moment. The goal here is to align yourself with life as it is and not become attached to the illusions of your mind. Doing this, you won't be caught off guard and feel like a piece of you dies when life comes to remind you that you were never in control to begin with. You can never actually know the future. So I invite you today to take a fearless and honest look at how you see your own future. And then with a mindful detachment, let it go. Release it like a daydream. Tell your mind to be quiet. Tell yourself the future is an illusion existing only in your head. Tell yourself that only God knows the future and place it into His hands. The late Charles Spurgeon once said, "Growth can be painful, change can be painful, but nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere you don't belong." If you've held on this long, then you've reached the end of the video. Thank you for sharing your time here today. I hope that whoever you are and wherever you are finding your way in life today, and that this has helped you prepare for your journey. If you find this work valuable, please like the video and leave a comment. Subscribe to the channel to receive new content every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. God bless.